Ted Nordhaus is with us. He is the chairman of the Breakthrough Institute. The website is thebreakthrough.org. And Ted, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
It's The Breakthrough, right? Because I just typed in
correct.
Breakthrough, and I got something else. Okay, the at the very beginning.
Yeah, Breakthrough will get you. I don't know what it'll get you, but it's not going to get you out.
Okay, let me put the in there and see what comes up. Okay, there we go. All right, Neoclassical Myth-Making, How Not to Think About the Economy by Michael Lind. Very interesting. So you write that cap and trade is actually you're writing in favor of nuclear power, and you're saying that trying to use cap and trade to control carbon regulation or carbon emissions doesn't work and is a bad idea. Do I have that right?
Well, yeah. I mean, basically, what we have had a long time standing view that if you want to get to a global economy that is going to meet the needs of 9 billion people without emitting carbon, that's a creative enterprise. It's not a restrictive enterprise. You've got to go build an entirely new energy economy. You're not going to regulate your way to a global clean energy economy.
Okay, so if you want to deregulate, if you want to do away with the government's role in things, why don't we do away with Price-Anderson, the law that causes you and me and every other taxpayer in America to subsidize the nuclear power industry?
Well, to be clear, what I said was that we're not going to regulate our way there. We need to invest our way there.
Okay, so you're all,
we've been long time
so you're all in favor of backing, because as you well know, if you and I stopped insuring the nuclear industry, no insurance company in the world would insure them, and they would go out of business tomorrow because they are so dangerous.
Well, that's not actually the case.
Well, they're so dangerous in the minds of the insurance companies. Maybe not in your mind, but...
Well, that's not even... actually, I mean, I'll just make 2 points. One is, that's actually not clear. You can argue that it's a subsidy we should get rid of, but...
Well, please name one country in the world that does not backstop their nuclear industry in order to, and instead throws it upon the tender mercies of Lloyd's of London.
There are none. I think there are actually a number of countries that use different ways. I mean, let me just say this, which is that we cap liability on all sorts of things that we decide are social goods, whether that's medical malpractice, whether that is hydroelectric dams, which also have liability caps. And we've decided that there are very low probability events that are very difficult in advance to anticipate what the costs are going to be. And so we've capped liability for the nuclear industry.
Well, I say let's do away with capping liability for medical malpractice. We actually don't do that in all states. There are a lot of states that don't cap medical malpractice. You're talking about so-called tort reform. And there are places that don't cap, the liabilities on hydro. These are basically industries that have gotten government welfare. And with regard to cap and trade, are you not familiar with what George Herbert Walker did?
If you don't want renewables, get rid of the subsidies for renewables. If you don't want nuclear, get rid of the subsidies for nuclear. But then don't turn around and tell me that you want to reduce global emissions by 80%.
What about the subsidies for the fossil fuel industry?
Pardon?
Why don't we get rid of the subsidies for the fossil fuel industry?
I'm all for getting rid of the subsidies for the fossil fuel industry, but don't think that if you get rid of those subsidies, fossil fuels are going away, because they're not.
No, they won't, but you realize the cost of oil will be over $250 a barrel tomorrow if you did away with all the subsidies for the fossil fuel industry.
No, it wouldn't be.
Of course it would. Who's going to pay for the Fifth Fleet to protect our shipping lanes?
Pardon?
Who's going to pay for the Fifth Fleet to protect our shipping lanes? If you take the amount of oil that this country uses...
If you're going to attribute every dollar that we spend on military spending...
No, I'm not taking every dollar.
...fossil energy. What about
I'm taking 10% of our military budget.
You want to...
It's $100 a barrel.
...to coal. I mean, really, for climate change, the big issue is coal, not oil. Now let's talk about subsidies for coal.
Okay, you've got the major subsidy is that they are externalizing their costs, their externalities. They're dumping their externalities on you and me. The coal industry does not pay to dispose of their waste.
So
you and I pay for that.
Internalize.
And they're internalizing their profits.
You can for coal, and coal still is not going away. It's not going to go away here, and it's definitely not going to go away in China and India.
I think we go away rather fast, and China is spending money like crazy. You know, China just put a cap-and-trade program into place in Shenzhen. They're doing what George Herbert Walker Bush did back in the 90s.
If you think that cap-and-trade program is going to move China away from coal, you are crazy.
Well, I watched George Herbert Walker Bush do it with sulfur dioxide. We had a problem back in the 80s with acid rain. It was killing our lakes. It was killing our wildlife. It was ruining our national monuments. It was eating the paint off people's cars. And so George Herbert Walker Bush said, let's put cap and trade on sulfur emissions from power plants into place. He put into place, Democrats and Republicans together, put into place a cap and trade program, and within a decade, we had pretty much solved the acid rain problem.
If you think sulfur dioxide is like carbon, you're also crazy. It's not the same thing. You have to completely decarbonize your energy system to have an impact on climate change.
Exactly.
And there's enormous, you have to actually change the underlying generation technologies.
Exactly.
Carbon capture and storage. You're not going to do it through a cap-and-trade program. You're not going to do it through scrubbers.
Sure you
can.
You
have to actually replace the entire infrastructure. So do not compare.
You've got over 20 countries in Europe that are doing cap-and-trade on carbon right now. Are you trying to tell me that I'm crazy and they are crazy too?
Cap-and-trade on carbon right now, and it has had no demonstrable impact on emissions anywhere in the world.
They are all reducing their carbon emissions. You've got the Northeast states that have put together a compact on essentially cap and trade. I mean, it's not a legal one, but they're reducing their emissions.
Program and is building coal plants as fast as they can. There's something like 20 coal plants going online in Germany in the next decade under their cap and trade program. European emissions were falling faster before they put cap and trade in place than afterwards.
Then, if that's true, let's do something about that. Okay, let's assume that you're right.
Tell me that cap and trade is working if it's not working because
let's just do let's just do a carbon tax. Let's say if you are going to produce an externality, which is the death and destruction of millions and millions of people and billions of dollars worth of property. I mean, you've got large chunks of the United States now that are functionally uninsurable. Virtually every marina in the state of Florida, for example, uninsurable. Why? Because of the externality of the fossil fuel industry, carbon dioxide. So let's just put a carbon tax on this stuff. Let's just say, it costs about $100 a ton to society for these guys to be emitting carbon, so we're going to charge them for that.
Norway have carbon taxes. There is virtually no evidence that those carbon taxes have had any impact on their emissions. So you want a carbon tax because you think it's the moral thing to do?
So you're telling me that
no evidence that you have any impact on global emissions or even on national emissions with cap and trade programs or carbon taxes. You want to try it again? Go keep banging your head against the same wall?
Yes. Put a carbon tax on.
But sometimes, there's a...
Why are you so afraid of a carbon tax?
I'm not afraid of a carbon tax. I'm telling you.
Okay, why don't you support it then?
Pardon?
Why don't you support it?
I do support a carbon tax.
Okay, what do you think it should be? I mean, the lowest end of what carbon is actually costing us, the amount of money that ExxonMobil and the Koch brothers are squeezing out of us is around $30 a ton. The high end is around $200 a ton. Where do you think the carbon tax should be?
I think we should have a low and rising carbon tax, and I think we should use the proceeds to fund investments in clean energy technology.
Okay,
and you
I
can
agree.
Wave your hands about, look, these estimates of the social cost of carbon are basically estimates. Tell me what you want the cost to be, and then go build a model that justifies it.
No, I would use the numbers from Swiss Re. I'd use the reinsurance industry numbers.
We actually live in, and what that is today is maybe, and probably not even that, about $10 a ton.
In your dreams, Ted. Ted Nordhaus. You can read all about it at thebreakthrough.org. Thanks, Ted.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
So, carbon tax, cap and trade, do nothing? I don't think do nothing is an option.